You get and deserve respect. And what Bubba Cunningham got instead from some members of the UNC Board of Trustees was lazy, ignorant cheap shots. That happens every day on message boards and social media and the darkest corners of other public forums. It's not supposed to happen on the Board of Trustees. And it did, and that made it a clown show, and that made it an embarrassment to those members of the BOT.
David, one of the things that has come up in recent weeks has been discussions of meetings in the recent past where some members of the Atlantic Coast Conference had been talking about forming a league comprised of people who are already members of the ACC, but leaving other members out. Now, two members of this discussion group that has never met at any one particular time en masse are North Carolina and NC State. Now, North Carolina and Athletics Director Bubba Cunningham were not in favor of expanding with Cal and Stanford and SMU. NC State voted for that expansion, Boo Corrigan, their AD, and therefore the expansion took place. Now, one thing is you were talking about the big dollar budgets. It's also very important to remember that North Carolina, with 28 varsity sports, has long been among the nation's top number of sports being presented. With 28 varsity sports, North Carolina has one of the larger athletics with 28 varsity sports, North Carolina has one of the largest athletics departments in the country. And now with Stanford coming in, finally Carolina will have the biggest one in the ACC. But I think it's very curious that North Carolina and NC State would be talking about a new ACC. And at no time have I seen either Duke or Wake Forest, their Big Four brothers, mentioned in that same context. This is really uncharted waters for the Atlantic Coast Conference, and certainly for North Carolina, as you mentioned, one of the charter members of the ACC.